Hello? Okay. I'm gonna turn this down some. Also, turn it down a bit for you and for me. Because it was blowing my ears out. Okay. I'm just gonna play some Poki tonight. And yap about some stuff. Talk about I have a few different things I want to talk about, but let's get into a run first. I've played this quite extensively. Well, not super extensively, because I don't have like a billion shinies and stuff, but like I go in spurts. Go with that. Ooh. So, first thing I want to talk about is oh boy, the big drama in the, well, it's not really drama even, just like the big crazy thing that happened in the streaming space in the last 48 hours, which was the whole situation with V Shoujo, and yeah, that was I don't think I have watched. I mean, technically, currently, V Shoujo isn't like dead yet, but it may as well be. The number of talents that have left, on both the Western side and the Japanese side, leaves them pretty much without any of their talent. And even if they still did have talents, they hadn't been paying their talents because of the fact that they most likely did not have money to. That's kind of still debated as to the you know, the exact reason, but from the sound of it, based on what the JP CEO was saying, it seems pretty much that the company has been financially struggling, and they have basically been borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. In a lot of respects, so it sucks, obviously, for everyone involved. You know, Iron Mouse especially, because of, you know, how I really did not do well. Let's run. She just you know, with all the money to, you know, the charity that she really cares about, and has played a big part in why she's even still alive today, not having paid out. It's really unfortunate. Of course, they managed to raise more than the amount that V Shoujo had owed to the Immune Deficiency Fund in 24 hours, maybe a little more than 24 hours. I don't know. What, as far as where things are sitting, if it's still ongoing, where things are sitting currently, but I know last I looked at it, it was like over 600K what they had raised since this whole thing coming in. So that's good. It's good to see her community and her friends rallying around her. What? I mean, I'm not super surprised that any of the stuff that came out has come out, and I'll be interested to see what else comes out, just because of the way talent agencies tend to work in general, and the fact that like VTuber agencies are very much built on the DNA of like K-pop and J-pop idol agencies. I mean, given VShojo was an American, well, is an American company for as long as it remains. But it was still following a lot of the same plays. Well, yeah. I just think it was crazy how quickly, like, from when Iron Mouse left and like said her piece on what happened with her, to like the mass exodus of everyone else. Usually that sort of thing I'm dumb. I always forget how these work. Yeah, usually it's something that's like, it at least takes like a week or two. Not really much new going on with me since Sunday's stream. I am still mostly focused on the viewer bot seller. Comes early this eve. Still mostly focused on being able to have a thought in my brain. Finishing up preparing things for launching the D&D actual play campaign, which now has an official launch date of August 16th. At this point, that's pretty set in stone, unless there were to be like a major emergency with myself or any other players that would require us to push it back. But for the most part, I think we got it pretty much locked. Earlier today I updated my Twitch panels. I added the D&D chat interaction panel that has all the information about how that's gonna work and what benefits or punishments chat can dole out to the players via that system. And I gotta figure out a couple of things before we have our final off-stream session next week. And then I got to, then I'll have 2 weeks to edit together a sort of, trailer slash story so far type video for the campaign. So things they're all coming together. Do I still have things I'm concerned about? Yes, for sure. But, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And ultimately, it's gonna be a growing experience as we work, like, feel things out, test things out. What my hope is, so, because I've started taking and applying some of the most basic lessons from my getting my acting degree to just providing general advice to my players about how to what's the word that I want? How to get more comfortable with making choices and stuff. They're not all like complete beginners, but it is like not like a long standing group, or a group that's been, you know, where we've had other campaigns, and so there's a little bit of nervousness and shyness between each other because of that. Ironically, I think I feel more comfortable when I'm like doing the DM thing than like when I'm on stream here, just like largely being myself, because I generally feel more comfortable with playing a character than with being myself around people. You know, it was one of the things when I got my autism diagnosis, when they were like, well, and I told them that I had majored in theater with a focus on acting. They were like, but isn't that like pretty social for someone with autism? And I'm like, yeah, but I did it because the thing I like about theater is you have a script and everyone knows where they're supposed to be all the time, and what their next line is, and all of that, and there's no like guessing with anything, because I overanalyze things so much. I'm so bad about it, and I am like terrible at taking people's advice on like, oh, they probably don't mean anything by that, or oh, they're probably just, you know, stressed about this or something. They don't actually really hate you. And it's like, but no, actually, they probably do hate me because of this thing. And it's caused a lot of, like, deep insecurity in me. And, it's ruined relationships in the past, unfortunately. But you know, I'm doing my best to not repeat those mistakes, and to grow and to learn from them, and to also be more compassionate to myself, as well as, thinking about how others take things, how the things I say and do and everything might be construed to others. And sometimes I can have a hard time with that. I can have a hard time figuring out how other people will see the way that I'm saying something, or the way, the way that I have gone about something. People can very much take offense at, or feel that I am being what's a good trying to think of what a good situation. I mean, just being rude or difficult when really I'm just trying to be very choosy with my words, or they'll be like, oh, it's really, it really bothers me where you asked me advice on this thing, but then you completely disregarded that advice, and it's like, yeah, I can see where that would come off as shitty, and oftentimes it wasn't even so much that I wanted advice as I just wanted someone to calm my thoughts in the moment, because I could not sleep and hadn't slept in days. And I'm like, yeah, that's a shitty thing to do. Shouldn't have done that. I think that I try to do my best. It's just sometimes I mess up, sometimes I spread myself too thin, and then I get so stressed out that I can't. See how the things that I am doing may affect others. And I've had times where but I'm very tough on myself as far as just putting myself down, and even when I feel like I've made the slightest mistake, hating on myself for it. And unfortunately, I think currently the big thing that I'm working out is how best to be kind to myself, but also remain cognizant of other people, because for a good many years in my life, I was a huge people pleaser. I did things exclusively for other people, because I felt that doing things for other people, and if I kept everyone else happy, it would make my environment peaceful, and then people would want to, like, I would not feel stressed out, not feel overwhelmed. And that is just a fucking lie. Doesn't work that way. There will always be things that will stress you out. Even, you know, the more you try and get rid of all the stress, the more you will find to stress out about. That's not to say that you shouldn't try to resolve issues in your life, or that you shouldn't help people when they need it. But you don't have to help them always. It's a delicate balancing. We are largely not great as a species at actually performing that balancing act. I don't know why I got into that. I didn't tend to travel down that road, but I don't even know what spurred that thought in my head. Ooh, nice. Catch all the eggs. Oh, yes, I was the theater thing, and then the autism evaluation thing, and then the blah 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 blah. That's how I got there. having ADHD and autism will do that to you. But on the topic of theater, I remember the way that I initially got into theater. It's a little bit of a long story, but I have time, so let's go. So I think it would have been when I was in 8th grade. They brought back the drama club at my school, which had not been there for a number of years. But we had a band director that year who was interested in bringing it back, and there was an interest among the students that they decided to, like, okay, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. So I was like, not really originally planning on auditioning for the play, but all of my friends were auditioning for the play. And I was like, well, if everybody else is auditioning, like all my friends are auditioning for the play, then I might as well audition for the play. Because, like, I don't want to be the odd one out. And so I went ahead and I signed up for auditions and stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna make sure I go when a bunch of my friends are going. And that's what I did. I went when a bunch of my friends were planning on going. And of course, there was, like, not the right number of us. No, I have not had any issues while playing Poker Rogue. Not that I can think of. No problem. I assume you're somehow involved with the development or something. Bug report manager, actually. Nice. Yep. No, I haven't had issues. I quite enjoy it. I play it in spurts. I've just been on a big Pokemon kick lately, so I've gotten back into it, so. Gotcha. Thanks for letting me know. Anyway. So I had gone to audition for a play with a bunch of my... to audition for the play with a bunch of my friends. And of course, there was like not the right number of us for the scene they were having everyone read for the audition. So I was like the least popular friend. There are stories we could get into about that, but I was the least popular of the friends. So I was not like immediately like in the group that wanted to audition like together for it, to read the scene together. And so I ended up getting just stuck with random people, which made me feel very uncomfortable, very flustered. And so I completely flubbed the audition. Like, not that, like, these were just cold reads, but like, even so, it was just like I did not do well at cold reading the scene. I did not put any characterization into the character. I did not like really do any of the things you're supposed to do when acting, even on a like middle/high school level of acting, you know, which is essentially community theater level acting, unless you're going to a performing arts high school. And so I always say that the best part of that first audition that I did was when I tripped over my own 2 feet and fell and knocked over the garbage can, and everyone laughed at that. That got a laugh. Was not intentional though. But needless to say, did not get cast in the play that year. And I didn't really have any interest in being part of the crew because I was like, I don't know, that's not really what I want to do with my time if I'm not gonna like be in the play. I'll come see it and support my friends. And so then the next year, I don't think I even bothered to audition for it. That or I was too busy, or I don't remember what the case was. Actually would have been the next, it would have been, had to have been the next 2 years. I didn't do the play until my junior year of high school. And the I must have decided not to audition for whatever reason. The next 2 years, I can't remember why. Probably because I was doing like trying to hard focus on academic decathlon, hard sports, and even though I did that all through high school, like the first couple years, I was like, I really need to like do a good job at this. I don't know why. I had convinced myself that I could be good at it, but I was like, I need to do really well at this. Never was ultimately very amazing at it, but it did get me my like 2/3 tuition scholarship for college, so I can't complain. But anyway, back to the main point of the story. We were doing the play, then I might have auditioned for it maybe sophomore year or my freshman year, like one of the 2 years, and just not gotten it again. I don't remember for sure. It's been longer than I like to think about at this point. But there was then my junior year, the play we were doing, I'm like, oh, it seems like, you know, it was a fun comedy, and I was interested in doing it and stuff, but unfortunately, like, I think like maybe a week or so into being back at school, we had a house fire, and so I was not able to attend the auditions because we were basically my mom would like drop us off at the school in the morning, and then pick us up after school, and we would drive like half hour or so, probably about 40 minutes away from where, well, no, because the school was actually closer to where we were staying at the time, while they were working on the house, so it would have been probably about 20 minutes or so, maybe half hour, to a hotel that we were staying in, to go to for the night, and then we lived in that hotel for a little while, I think like a couple months maybe, while they worked on our house and like repairing the damage to it. It was all paid for by the insurance company. But it made like staying for after school stuff kind of difficult. And so, like, I missed the auditions. And then, like, shortly before we were done staying at the hotel, I believe, we were at some sort of school function, and one of my friend's parents said something to my mom to the effect of, "Oh, is Indy going to show up to rehearsals?" I hadn't even looked at the cast list because I was like, well, I didn't audition, so I'm not on the cast. Easy peasy. Ah. Wow. Turns out, my friend, his parents were the ones directing the play that year. And I had said something to him about, like, you know, because he asked me if I was going to audition. I was like, oh, you know, I did want to try and audition again, but I really can't because of, you know, the house fire and stuff. We just, you know, with having to travel to the hotel and stuff after school every day, I just really don't have the ability to stay for the auditions, especially when I don't know, you know, when it's going to be my turn to audition. And he was like, okay. Well, he must have said something to his parents because they didn't give me, like, a main part in the play. They did cast me as a bunch of, like, the extra characters that they just, like, didn't have anyone for. And so, like, yeah, I was in the play, and I didn't know, and I had missed, like, a week or so of rehearsals, which wasn't a huge deal, because we, you know, we had a lot of rehearsal before the show yet, you know, a few months yet, and, you know, essentially high school theater, like I said, unless you're going to a performing arts high school, the main thing people are looking for to determine whether you did a good job is, did you remember all the lines? If you did, then that's amazing. Holy cow, how did you even remember all of those words? That was the best acting they've ever seen, because it's all your friends and parents and nobody else. And so I started going to the rehearsals and stuff, and it was a fun time. We did the show, and ultimately, you know, people thought I was good, and I actually audition next year, and then was in the play my senior year as well. I think. My memory is so bad. I'm gonna, like, this is gonna be a little bit of a tangent. In the theater saga, but I have legitimate memory issues that are probably a combination of a number of things, like the fact that I had multiple concussions as a child, and not because I like played any dangerous sports or anything. I was just like an accident-prone kid, first off. And then the other part of it being I did the often did a lot of dumb things, like as a very young kid, where it's like, which a lot of very young kids do, but a lot of times it ended with me hitting my head. Things like, oh, my mom clearly told me not to stand on the rocking chair. Would I listen? No, no, no. And eventually I fell and hit my chin on the windowsill, and it rattled my little brain around in my head. It gave me a concussion. Things of that nature. And so there's that, but I also had the unfortunate well, that would be really good. The unfortunate and I'm having trouble finding the word. I have the unfortunate combination of that combined with the fact that I have like ADHD, and that'll just cause like my brain to kind of like forget things, especially like short-term memory wise. And then on top of all that, there's then the fact that I have fibromyalgia, which also causes brain fog. And so yeah, I am not in a situation where I have a good combination of conditions for a healthy, strong memory. So now I'm like thinking about like, was I in the play my senior year? I'm like, I know for sure I did the play at least 1 year in high school, because I can remember that play specifically. Because that was also the reason why I ended up joining choir, because at least at the time anyway, I had a decent singing voice, and my the choir director, you know, they heard me sing in the play and they were like, "Why didn't you tell me you could sing?" And I'm like, "Because I didn't know I could." And they were like, "Well, are you gonna join choir?" And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm already in band and all this other stuff. Why would I do choir too?" And then, you know, my friends ended up convincing me. And then I ended up just doing choir my senior year. But I'm thinking I had to have been in the play my senior year. I just don't remember what the play was. Which tells me it wasn't very good. I mean, the one we did our junior year wasn't a very good play either. It was like one of those, like, "Oh, this is a silly goofy play written for high schoolers to perform, because it doesn't have anything too offensive in it." And even then, there was still some stuff where they were like, "Oh, well, maybe we should change this bit, because it, you know, people might be offended by the implication." And it's like, really? But that was one of the best jokes in the show. I can't... That's gonna bug me, though. Oh, no, I remember what we did my senior year now. Okay. We did, like, a play that was, like, about, like, camp counselors at a... summer camp. And stuff, and it was once again like a musical, and I played the like second male lead because I wasn't as a trans person at the time. And my friend's parents were directing the play again, so he was the male lead. Obviously. But, you know, it was good. It was good for what it was. And it was fun at the time. And then, you know, it came time to graduate high school, and I was like, well, all of the adults, like my guidance counselor and everything, all say I need to get a degree in order to succeed in life. And, like, my dad expects me to go to college. And that's what they always do in all the TV shows and movies after they graduate. So I guess I'm gonna go to college. But I don't really know what I want to do. So I was like, well, I'm enjoying this theater thing. It's a real goof and a gaff. It's a hoot and a holler. And, so I was like, yeah, I'll go major in theater. And I started looking at colleges for theater. For that one reason only. Unfortunately, or maybe I don't know. It's one of these things where it's like my time in school for theater helped me find myself in a lot of ways. And I do think I learned some valuable things. And we're going on an ad break. But I do think I've learned some valuable things in theater school. And I made some very good friends in theater school that I still talk to somewhat regularly. I will say if I could go back and do it again, I don't know if I would. It'd be a hard thing to decide, knowing what I know now. But also, at the same time, I'm like, knowing what I know now, I could go back and do it again and, like, get even more out of it, because I would not have to, like, build such basic fundamentals which was something that was like a major wake-up call to me when I went to college for theater. You know, I ended up picking the one school in my state that offered a Bachelor of Fine Arts program over a Bachelor of Arts, because I was like, oh, that's just a little bit more, like, it's got a little bit of extra panache on it, a little bit of extra pizzazz, a little spice. And so, you know, that's what I went with. And funny thing about it is, I had to audition into the... That was a bad boy. Audition into the Bachelor of Fine Arts program. I mean, there were some other schools where I think I would have had to audition into the theater program as a whole. But this one, I specifically, like, I joined the theater program, but if I wanted to do the Bachelor of Fine Arts program, if I wanted to, like, not have it just be, like, a general theater degree, and, like, have it actually be, like, focused, I would have to specifically audition into that program. And I was like, well, I've got this easy. Everybody tells me that how good I am at this. So obviously, I'm good at this. Coming from little tiny high school where my graduating class was like 50 people, and like I said, people were probably just impressed that I could memorize all the words. And so I was like, not like super full of myself, but I was like pretty sure, like, yeah, I'll get it. I might have to audition twice. I might not get in on the first audition, but like after I take my acting 1 class freshman year, I'm for sure gonna get it. That was not how it went. Firstly, I was the only freshman out of my incoming freshman class of theater majors that was, applying for the well, no, not the only one. Actually, I take that back. There were 2 others. So there were 3 of us, because my incoming freshman class was bigger than some of the subsequent years. So there were 2 others. With me and 2 others were the ones who did not get into the BFA program on our initial audition. I believe only one of us ultimately never made it in after we had exhausted all 3 attempts. But I remember, because I was hanging out more with the, like, oh, why did I use Crab Hammer? And I saw I had. I'm a dumb. I was hanging out more with the freshmen and stuff that were like pretty much shoo-ins. Like they were like good. Because originally when I had gone in there, because the other reason why I picked this school was because it was the only school that had specifically a musical theater program over, like in my state that had a musical theater program over like just like a theater program. I very quickly like dropped the idea that I was gonna audition for musical theater because I was like, I can't. By the time I entered college, my voice had changed some more, and I could not hit the notes that I used to be able to hit. And I'm like, I've never danced a day in my life. I've always been like way too embarrassed to dance. I'm never going to. In a million years, do this whole I'm never in a million years going to do this whole musical theater thing. So I very quickly gave up on that idea. But I was like, the acting, regular acting, I can do that. And I can do it. Maybe I'll still take some of the, like, musical theater related classes just to, like, just in case. And yeah, okay, firstly, two very embarrassing things happened to me very quickly after I had gotten there. Firstly, they used to do a thing called guerrilla theater, spelled like not like the ape, but like guerrilla fighter, where when the theater wasn't being used for rehearsals for a main stage show or something, we would you know, whoever wanted to could bring a monologue that they were working on, or a song they were working on, or just even something fun that they just kind of wanted to do, and perform it for like the other theater students. Occasionally, like, a professor would show up, but then that kind of like petered out as the years I was there went on. But what I did, like, so that happened, like, there was one of those, and I was like, okay, well, it'll be a good way for me to get to know and socialize with some of the theater students that, like, are upperclassmen that I am not really that familiar with yet, and you know, kind of show them what I have and like there are, you know, several of the other freshmen going, and that was kind of what the, you know, everyone's that was going there, that was what their thought was. And I was very obsessed. I still very much love Star Kid and their musicals and all that. But at the time I was like very obsessed with them. I had like just gotten into their stuff, and it was back before like the Hatchetfield trilogy and all that had come out, so the stuff they had released at that time was a lot less refined and more crude and kind of, you know, to be honest, a little bit cringy at some points. And I, you know, in all my infinite wisdom, made the decision not only to go to this thing that was going to be like my first time like interacting with a number of these theater upper freshmen, and perform a song from a Star Kids show, which I will say, like, for being a fairly small college, like we had a certain level of snobbery about our theater opinions in that department. Not all of which I completely agreed with, but I would go along with at times for the purposes of fitting in with the group. And so I not only decide, oh, I'm gonna do a Star Kid song, but A, that was A. B was my singing voice couldn't hit all the notes, and I hadn't really practiced it, so who knows how it sounded. Probably pretty rough, probably pretty bad. I've kind of blocked that part out. And C, I decided to sing the opening number of a show, which was, of course, as many opening numbers are, an ensemble piece. Because obviously. And at the time, because I had like made friends with some upperclassmen in the theater department, and I therefore wasn't completely like going in the right word, not blind, but like completely going in like with no one. You know, it wasn't like, didn't make me the laughing stock of the department, but I did end up feeling embarrassed, especially when like only like a couple of people I had already made friends with, and this one person who I later found out A, no one liked, and B, was also very into Star Kid. Like, it was like only him and like the few people that I had already made friends with that were like at all supportive. That like there were some people that I could tell were like visibly like kind of put off by it. And rightfully so. It was bad. I don't blame them one bit. It was truly a bad time. It was a bad showing on my part. And I did that. You know, that was before my first audition for the BFA and stuff. Because they let you, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more, they let you get your first acting class. No, well, do that? I can't remember. No, they don't. No. I was right the first time. You have to do your first one before, and then the second one you get to do after you've had your first acting class. And then the third one isn't until like your second year. And that was a rough experience. But I remember I did my first audition. And then you know, they don't really, they might give you a little bit of feedback, like right then and there. But largely speaking, you don't get any feedback. Which, in the real world, if you're auditioning for something, you're not going to get any feedback on it when you get done with your audition. Anyway, so it's like not like a bad system, you know, because they are trying to get us used to that idea. And there was, you know, I was like, you know, I remember the friends I had in the department at the time, they asked me how I thought it went, and I was like, it could have gone better, but I think it went, you know, okay. And then you just sit around and wait for a few weeks while you wait for them to decide on who's going to get into the BFA program and who isn't. And I remember we finally got our letters about whether or not we were in the BFA program, and I was so nervous. Because the professor who was the head of the department, he had caught me and then a few of the other students who were waiting on our letters. like, kind of loitering around the lobby. And stuff, because we had heard that they were going to have the letters ready. And so he's like, okay, yeah, I'll give these to you. And so we got them, and I remember, I can't remember if I opened mine while there. I think I wanted to wait till I got back to my apartment in case it, like, wasn't good news. And so then that's what I think that's what I did. Well, that's what I said I was gonna do, and then I, you know, left the campus, and as I was walking towards my apartment, I immediately looked at the letter, which was the worst thing I could have done, because of course I found out that I didn't get in at that moment, and then I was just like sobbing my whole way back to my apartment, even though I knew that the audition had not gone like great. I just, like, I felt like shitty because I knew that, like, the people that I was friends with in the freshman class had got in, and I'm like, why did I even decide to do this? You know, why? You know, this is not a thing that I'm any good at. Such a stupid decision, yada yada yada. And in the end, you know, I ended up, you know, telling people, I'm like, yeah, I didn't get in, blah, blah, blah. But then I found out I wasn't the only one that didn't get in, at least, so that, like, softened the blow some. And I was able to kind of keep pushing through, and then I had to audition then I think I can't remember if it was at the beginning of my sophomore year or the end of my freshman. But one of the two. And that went about as well as it did the first time. There really didn't seem to have been much improvement. I think it might have been the beginning of my sophomore year. And I was like, shit. I felt like I had at least made improvement, you know? I had taken, like, our initial acting class, and I was, you know, really trying to absorb it all, and and I, you know, I thought, sure, like, it improved. Maybe it's not perfect, but, like, I improved. And then I got the news again that I did not get in. And that majorly sucked. And it had to have been the, yeah, it had to have been the, had to have been the beginning of my sophomore year, the second audition. Because I remember doing the third audition after the winter break of my sophomore. Because I felt devastated that I didn't get it the second time. I was like, certainly I'll get it the second time. Didn't get it the second time. So I went and I met up with the like main acting professor and talked to him and stuff and got some tips and stuff from him, what I could work on, and he suggested some like monologues for me and everything, and he was like, yeah, he's like, if you if you want to work on them and then come show me what you have and I will give you feedback and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And so I did that, but I also went to like the department chair and I was like, so like I don't know, I'm not feeling great about this. I don't know what I should do exactly. I need some advice. Give me some advice. And because I had originally gone into college as like a dual major with theater and speech and language pathology, and then didn't like that. And so I switched my second major to just like communications, and like that was okay, but it's like still really wasn't what I still didn't really enjoy it that much. And I was like, I'm doing all these like extra classes, extra work, like stressing myself out and making this more difficult on myself. And I'm like, I like being in the theater. I like being around the theater, And so I was like, okay, Bob. Bobola. Tell me, is there like any chance? Do I got any shot? I really want to drop my second major. I really don't want to have two majors. I mainly did it to like appease my dad. Any chance you can tell me that like I think I got what it takes? And his answer was kind of like, honestly, not really. I don't really think so. But I'm not the one who you really need to convince. It's like, if you can convince like the main acting professor guy, if you can convince him, then we'll let you in the program. And he's like, and ultimately, he's like, but ultimately, he's like, I would ask myself, you know, do you see yourself doing anything else? Because if the answer is yes, if you could see yourself doing anything else but this, I would not put all my eggs in this basket. And I was like, honestly, not really. And even though I haven't, like, done theater since college, I haven't, like, done any, like, professional acting, I have... Yo, ban you. Please. You got it. I'm not gonna play whatever game you're about to. But anyway, so then I spent my winter break of my sophomore year like at my apartment at school, just working on my audition, and I managed to get into the BFA program and got my acting degree. It's great. You're getting in my head. All because of something very stupid. But yeah. And then my time as a theater major is what introduced me to a number of things in life. High school, I was very much a super straight-laced, like, will not break the rules type of person, and initially when I went into college, that was how I was. I did not have the initial intention of like breaking any of the rules. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. I'm like, I got this scholarship, so I can't like be drinking underage thing. I'll hang out. I'm not gonna like narc on people, but I'm not gonna, be the person that, is doing that kind of stuff. And, a combination, I think, of the stress from not getting my BFA, peer pressure from the other students in the theater department, and a good friend at the time who was more than willing to help provide me with drugs or alcohol, and that did not last beyond my freshman year at all. By the time I graduated, I never like got heavy into like the drinking. Like I wasn't out partying, drinking like every night of the week or anything like that, like some of the college students. That's not to say that I couldn't like hold my liquor when I wanted to, but it wasn't like I never enjoyed it as much as like weed was my big one. I was a major stoner by the time I graduated my senior year, and I had the apartment that was off campus and like tucked away, and that had landlords that didn't give a fuck about what you were doing as long as you weren't like destroying the place. I was like getting high pretty much every day. It was good times. It was still like, it was excessive, but also responsible. Because I would always be like, well, if I have rehearsal or like a costume fitting or this or that, I'm gonna make sure I go to that, get that done first before I get stoned. Because I knew after the first like time or two of the high that I was like, I am not a productive stoner. I'm the kind of stoner that I is high and I play video games or make some sort of college desperation meal that tastes like the best thing you've ever eaten, because you're fucking blasted, and just like chill on my couch for hours. So I always made sure I had everything done first before I did it. That's it. Still did it every day. And I remember distinctly. Please. I remember distinctly there was a time when my roommate, my senior year, like, came out of his room and he's like, hey, so I've got this guy that is coming up from the city this weekend, and he can get us some ecstasy. Do you want that? And it's like, at first I was like, gonna be like, no, for sure. But that's, and I was like, nah, what the hell? So I was like, sure. And he's like, and he can also get us some acid. And I was like, oh. Well, don't. Well, if I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a penny. So I might as well get it all. And I ended up rationing. I bought a decent bit. And, I ended up rationing what I had, like, throughout the entire school year. And I never had a bad experience with it. Haven't done it since. It was fun. I won't say that I recommend it because it's not legal. I can't. But, and there, people do have bad experiences with it as well. Her mileage does vary, but I never had bad experience. It was good when I did it. Legend in my car. Okay, this is the one where 90% of the time I just lose because of this fucker. Okay. So that's pretty good. This is not as great. I think maybe I can do this. If we just do things in a different order. This doesn't matter too much. Sack Clawitzer. It's not worth trading off. Well, fuck. Okay, that's not play. Just let him kill everything. And reset the battle. think there's a way to go ahead and continue this one that I had saved, because I didn't remember where I was or anything. Thinking that I'm hearing my phone ringing. Every time I check, it isn't. Now the question is that auditory hallucinations, or me just imagining things? I have a number of things that I'm working on that are like not related to stream necessarily. Like some of them are for like the D&D content, but mostly they're not. Mostly they're like things for some other people, or like stuff so that I can maybe try and take on some missions as a video editor, or even just like scrubbing VODs for people. And but with ADHD, like I have a hard time like sitting down and doing this stuff sometimes. And the worst thing is, it's like I have medication. I take Adderall, which is starting to wear off. And I take Adderall, and you know, for the most part, it does a pretty good job. The issue being, if I take it and then I'm not able to like immediately or shortly thereafter start the thing that I need to work on, my brain will then, like, the medication will kick in and my brain will focus in on the wrong thing. I will be focused upon the fact that I booted up Pokin for one short little run. Or I'll be focused on like this morning I got on my computer to work on like an editing like putting together an editing demo reel type thing, and like starting working on that, and I was like, I had to open up Peak to check on something. Because I'm gonna be playing it with Pep, who I stream with on Sundays usually, and a group of our friends again this Sunday, and I wanted to check something because like a couple of the people in our group weren't like too hot on the game. They were kind of like put off by a few of the mechanics and stuff, but mainly how long it can take between like if you die fairly early on. That's great. In like a certain section of the climb, how it can be a long time before you ever end up getting to play again, because you know, it might be 20-30 minutes or something like that, especially like if you're a new group playing the game before you make it to the peak and actually resurrect people for that to move on to the next section. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. And so I was we were like looking into some things, and me and Pep have been playing some solo climbs to like learn mechanics better and learn some tips and tricks to share with everybody, so that the group has a better time overall. And I booted it up just to check on this thing real quick, and then I ended up playing it for 2 hours before I ever actually got around to starting work on the thing that I had sat down at my computer to work on, because my medication had kicked in, and I was like, well, I can just do one quick solo climb. Just like one real quick fast one. And then it ended up not being truly quick or fast. Yes. 2 hours of like, well, I did pretty good that first one. What if I just did like a second? Just to see. Just to see if I could get a little further. I did worse on the second. And then I was like, now I need to get off. I need to quit playing this game, or I will sit here and play this game all day and not work on what I was supposed to be working on at all. But that, like, I've lost days to shit like that before, where it's like, I didn't mean to play the game. And it's not like the usual, like, oh, well, that's not good. Not the usual, like, oh, I didn't mean to play the game for 5 hours thing of like, oh, I got a new game and then I really enjoy it. It's just like my ADHD and my medication teaming up and like, it's like, oh no, the medication's kicking in. We're going to focus your mind, but you were looking at the wrong thing at the time, so now you're gonna be really focused on that. Or sometimes it'll be like even stupider. Like I'm not even playing a game. I'll just be like scrolling on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and then I'm like, oh shit, I've been on here for like 4 hours, all because my medication kicked in while I was staring at this. And then my brain just said, oh, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going because the dopamine is good, and this gives us the dopamine. And that's what the point was, right? Oh, shit. Just like the last... Now this... Okay, no, this is the other version of it where it's like, oh, I've gotten into a new thing that interests me a lot, and so I can't pry myself away from it. I have been playing the Pokemon fan game, Pokemon Reborn, a lot. Originally I started it on my computer, and I was only playing it on my computer. Then I downloaded it on my phone and installed it on JoyPlay, and I'm just like, the last few nights, I'm like, well, I'll get in bed around 11. All ready to go to sleep. And I'll be like, you know, it's a little early yet. I'm not feeling tired. I need to unwind. I'll play some Pokemon Reborn, get a little further. Because I really enjoy the way that Pokemon encounters work in that game, and how, like, it's kind of like, yeah, there are a lot of Pokemon you can get just by, like, going in the, like, grass and different, like, wild Pokemon areas, but, like, the the more coveted ones, the ones that you really want, you have to venture out into the different environments and talk to everyone and do little side quests and stuff and like earn the Pokemon. I'm like, oh, that's fun. That's cool. And it's a game that's been around forever, so... Well, not forever, but for quite a while. As far as Pokemon fan games go, so it's not I guess one that people don't know about, but I was just... You know, the last couple nights I was just like... Oh, I'll just play it. Like... a little bit. And then like 5 hours later, I'm like, oh, fuck. Or 6 hours later, I'll be like, oh, shit. I need to go to sleep. I have to get up in the morning. Not because I have to be anywhere, but because I have things I need to work on. I can't be doing this. Ba-ba-ba-bam. Not gonna go too much longer here. I want to... My problem with Pokerogue is usually what I always end up telling myself is like, I'll go until I hatch the eggs that I currently have. But then like, I get more egg gacha vouchers, and I'm like, well, I gotta go ahead and pull for the eggs and see if I get any good ones. So I do that. And then I'm like, well, now I have more eggs to hatch. So I can't quit until I hatch those eggs, obviously. And then it kind of continues like that for a little bit. Until I finally either run out of eggs or it's like 4 in the morning and I'm like, what have I done? Why have I done this to myself yet again? But I'm starting to get sore, so... Probably will quit pretty soon. A shiny Morpeko. Ding. I think that's always like, okay, I've played Pokemon since the first generation. Which tells you how old I am. The thing that's always ripped me up is you know, I know the type chart pretty much, but I still occasionally get tripped up in thinking that electric is weak to rock, specifically because of the anime and how they like treated it like Ash's Pikachu was weak to all of Brock's Pokemon, which I know Geodude is rock and ground. But I don't know if Onyx is or not. But as a kid, I was like, well, he's the rock gym. So, therefore, electric is weak to rock. That has never been how it is. Electric is weak to ground. And is it only weak to ground? I think it is. Play the game. Lillipop, you play the game. Uh-oh. That's exactly what I meant to do. 3 eggs left to hatch. Hatch those. I'll wait until they hatch. But then I'm probably gonna save the run and end it. Because I'm hurting. I need to get up. Stay don't be here. That was dumb. That was just dumb of me. Is it done? Well, Little Pup was, well, still is, I think my favorite, like, early game normal type. Because it was, like, one of the very few, like, actually decent ones. A Thunderstone. We can get a Jolteon. I always loved the evolutions. My biggest problem with them is that they like don't really get a very good level up move set. And Eevee itself doesn't learn a whole lot well, for the most part it doesn't. It can learn a lot of moves of the types of its evolution, but through level up it doesn't learn them, like many of them, except for I think maybe some fairy type moves. Potentially, and even that I'm not 100% sure of, aside from like the stat lowering ones. And that was like the one thing that I always like found annoying about Eevee's evolution. I'm like, I don't want to have to get bunch of TMs just to have a decent set of moves. Not gonna use it. I'm not gonna use the voucher. I think I have just one. Just one egg left. And there are Pokemon that, like, I've always enjoyed as Pokemon, but have never really been very good. Like, regular, like, Coughing and normal Cantoni and Wheezing are pretty, like, underwhelming. But it's like, I like, same thing with Ekans and Arbok, because they were all, like, the original ones that Jesse and James had, and that's, like, nostalgic for them. Karachi. get to I'll save there. Call it a night. I don't remember if I've ever cleared this more than once. Like the classic mode. Cause I know I cleared it the one time. I might have cleared it twice. But I know I haven't cleared it anymore. Partially because I stopped grinding it from time to time. And partially because I'll breeze through like the lower levels. I can usually get at least to level 100, and then somewhere in the second half, I just fumble it. The global trade system. I don't like any of those options. What do you got on this one? Oop, oop. Okay, Bridgebacks is one I'll take a look at. Go ahead and pull our next set of eggs. Oh man, a pig. Okay. That is gonna be it for tonight. Back not tomorrow. That's 11. I will be back on Sunday at 8:30. Peak regular game. So, um, but for now, going to call it a night. Two. see. Got two options for some. Uh, she's playing Souls-like Blue Chain. To everything now show, but I think they're just about done. So let's play. Bam. Peak Sunday at 8:30. Bring that time. Bring that chance.